G'day guys and girls, back at it again, into the boot, like some troll living under a bridge. So I didn't film this because it's pretty boring, but I replaced this section all through here. I've got to cut this out and do that piece, and I've already cut that one out. A little bit more to do on the side, fix that up, and then make a nice tab down the edge there for the inner guard to, when repaired, to fit on, same as I did on this side. But at the moment, I'll probably just put that piece in and weld that nut back in that came out, and then I'll get stuck into that. There you go guys, slight diversion for a moment. This is a part that's just turned up, always very exciting. It's from Pete Alexander from Better Than Nos. Packaging's always brilliant, as are the parts. And I'll show you what it's like. That's how it comes. So, well packed, never damaged, absolutely magnificent. And the parts themselves, I'm very keen to fit this guy on. New beaver panel. So that's what you can expect. Well, I suppose one advantage of having to do these patches along the top here is I can see into the chassis rail, so I can clean it, spray it out, treat it with a rust converter or treatment, and also prime it up. So that one's ready now to repair. There's my piece. That will go over that way, sits in there, in there. Oh, it does actually sit in there. So I'll now fit that in there and move on. Alright, that guy's in there now. That's done. Now what I'm doing is I'm going to cut this section out here, down here, and then put in the piece there and the tab on the back, so that the inner guard, when I replace this section, will have something to be spot welded onto. Okay, so I'm just making the part now to go in there. Sits in here, it's this guy here. He'll sit up in, sits just up there quite nicely. So that's where that'll sit. So now I'll weld him in, and that'll finish pretty well the boot section, because I consider this part from forward getting towards the interior of the car. So that will finish this section. Let's get on with it. So I've just prepared this boot floor with some copper weld through, and painted over the sections that are welded. And that's also been done on the chassis rail. So now I'll put that in position, get it clamped in with the tank so I know it's right, and then I'll weld that in, and then I can start on that little piece over in the corner under the wheel arch. Alright, now for the inner wheel arch. Weld that all the way around. Like that. But I will say I'm happy with how it finished off in the boot. It's quite a neat fit in the corner there, so it came up quite well. So I'll get that in place now. Then I can start on that side. Yay. So today's effort is tidying up these welds here. I've just gone around and ground around that patch, and also the one down inside the guard there. I'm just now going to go and finish this one off, cut that down in flush, clean all that up all the way around there, get that side finished, and then I can actually make a serious start on locking this panel in. Then what I'm going to do is weld a bar across back here, just this over the parcel shelf, so when I cut off this rear panel I don't get too much movement, so I know where the new one fits. Let's see how that goes for us. Righto, so as you can see, this piece is a bit munted at the back here. This is on the beaver panel on the back of the car. So I have to cut that off there, and then I have this piece that I have made up, plain little shape, and that will sit in there, and I'll weld him in. So let's do that. Well, I've got this far into it and I just ran out of MIG wire, so there'll be no more welding for me today. Looks like a trip to Bunnings. Might start on that corner. Well, as it turns out, I didn't start on the corner. I ended up tidying up this in here and fixed all that up so it looks a whole lot nicer. I've got this little side plate plug punched out and painted ready on the inside to be MIG'd on, and now I'm just actually in the process of making this piece in here, which is a right mongrel. I did finish down there, so that bit's good. This is going to be cut off, and around under here is where I am now working, making this piece and sorting out how I'm going to make something in here and be able to actually get to it to weld it in. A lot of guys already have this panel cut off, but I don't want to cut off if I don't need to, so let's see how I go. Well, here I am into this next stupid job. That cardboard shape in there is what I need to make out of metal, and then a second piece to run up there and a third one to run in there. So here comes another hour or two of frustration. Alright, this piece. What an absolute hell trip. Probably not my best work, but the best I can do for where it's got to go. It is absolute horrendous. That's taken me so long to make. It's been probably the most difficult part. And it goes in there. So I'll go and have a fight with myself now and put it in, then I'll come back and show you what it looks like. So it sits in there. I'll fold this back in after. I had to fold it down to get the broken old one out. I just got to cut now along the back here and clean that, and then I can start welding these in and around that bottom lip. I'll probably spot weld that in that corner because I can get a grab on it, and even maybe these ones up here, and even possibly there, but I'm going to have to run a bead. I don't know if you can see what I was pointing at, but there, I'll run a bead along here and I'll cut that off. I'll be glad to get this out of the way. Unfortunately, there's another side. Alright. Well, that was as big a pain in the butt to put in as it was to make it. Still got to weld a couple of spots and plug weld it from the back, and then make this last little piece that comes down in here, and then I'll get in there with the die grinder and smooth that up. Probably don't have to, but I will anyway. And then I'll get that painted. This has all been spot welded and welded now, so that's good. Man, what a job. Okay, thought I'd show you something different here. Basically, this is what 6 months work. It's been 6 months since I started. Inner and upper and lower plenums, all the strengthening parts that go with it. Pulled out, rebuilt and reinstalled. Just got to weld up the brace here. Whole new front section from the structure towers forward. That's all replaced. All the chassis rails repaired, torque boxes, torque converter boxes, inner kicks, firewall, A-pillars, this is all on both sides, inner and outer seals, floors, just got to finish that one over there, but I've got a piece there. When I get on the rotisserie I'll do that one. I've done the back floors for the most part, got to do that side yet. Replaced this section of the roof windshield arm, repaired that corner of the roof, lead wiped that corner up there. Still got to do the rust rail or the rain rails. Repaired that piece there, knock that out, still have to panel beat. All that work in there, replace that section, all up under there. And they're still doing that corner, of course. Corner there in the guard, still working on this one. The boot, major works. Had all that replaced in there now, and the tank supports. Repaired that piece along the back in numerous places, and also that section there. So 6 months, that's what I've got to at this point. Still got the obvious here to do, and these pieces here, and of course a roof and those rails. But soon I'll be able to put it onto a rotisserie, and that will sort out a lot of my problems for access to getting into these. I've started taking out the framework inside, as you can see, so I don't need that there anymore. So yeah, it's coming on. Happy enough with that for 6 months.